Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks. 3 years ago, I moved in to help my grieving daughter and her chaotic young family. I cooked, cleaned, paid the bills. I gave up everything. And when they were done using me, they told me to get out. So I did. But not before I reminded them exactly what I brought to that house. If you've ever felt taken for granted, if you know the sting of being tossed aside after giving your all, then hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in. Because this is one of the most emotionally satisfying revenge stories you'll hear all week. When my son Eli died, the world cracked open. Not just for me, but for his wife Tarun and their twin boys. They were barely toddlers, and grief hung in the air like dust after a building falls. Tarun called me late one night, voice trembling, "I don't know how to do this, Mom." I didn't hesitate. I packed my bags, shelved my plans, and moved into their home. I told myself I'd stay a few months. Just enough time to help her find her footing. But weeks turned into months. And months turned into years. At first, it felt good. I had a purpose. I woke before sunrise, made lunches, rotated laundry, paid the bills they couldn't cover. From my pension, I covered groceries, daycare, and heating. Quietly, without ceremony. That's what family does, I told myself. But over time, the gratitude faded. The thank yous vanished. I became a shadow in my own generosity. They stopped inviting me to dinner. The twins started calling Niles's mom the other grandma. She rarely showed up, but apparently, her absence earned more reverence than my presence. I'd mention Eli sometimes. My sweet son. Silence. Like I was clinging to a name that had expired. Still, I stayed. I told myself being useful was enough, even if I was no longer cherished. And then, last Tuesday night, as I was folding the boys' socks, everything changed. Tarun walked into the laundry room, holding her phone like it was a weapon. "Mom," she said, not meeting my eyes. "Niles's parents are moving in." I blinked. "They're visiting?" "No. Moving in. For good." I laughed. I truly thought it was a joke. She didn't laugh back. "You'll need to be out by the end of the month," she added. There was no offer to help me relocate. No apology. Just calm, cruel dismissal. The next morning, I saw boxes stacked in the office already. The eviction had begun. And with it, a slow erasure. They adjusted the thermostat to 66 degrees. I wasn't offered a blanket. The groceries changed. No more fruit. No more coffee I liked. The twins stopped asking for bedtime stories. "They're too old now," Tarun said. I spent nights in my room, eating alone, watching home movies with the volume low. The house I kept alive had gone cold. I was invisible. And then Camille, my old friend, said something over tea that shattered me. "They're not easing you out. They've already erased you." That night, I opened my bank account. $26,000. That's how much I'd spent quietly over the last 3 years. Groceries, utilities, daycare, medicine. I started a spreadsheet. I printed receipts. I opened the folder where I'd once saved a condo deposit, a deposit I gave to Tarun when she called crying years ago. That folder sat on the counter now, like a promise. And then I made a decision. They wanted me gone? Fine. But they would feel the weight of what they were losing. I spent the next week cataloging everything I'd bought. The washer and dryer. I had the receipt. The dining table. Bought with my own check. The air purifier? My purchase. Even the Instant Pot, a gift to myself when no one else bothered. I printed it all. Marked it. Packed it. Quietly. Then, I called Camille. We borrowed a van. Waited for Tarun and Niles to be out. And we moved. Every object with my fingerprint on it came with me. The rug in the foyer. The shelf with batteries. The lamp in the living room. The comforter from my bed. The kitchen was left barren. I even took the garlic press. And yes, I took the Instant Pot. By noon, we were done. On the kitchen counter, I left a note. What I paid for, I took. What you threw away, you can keep. No love. No signature. Just truth. Soft piano begins as tone shifts to freedom. My new place? Tiny. Worn down. But mine. The key turned in the lock. The thermostat listened. And the silence? Bliss. Leota from next door brought cookies. By Thursday, I was playing cards with other retired women who didn't need anything but my laughter. I made tea in my own mug. Sat on my own futon. Slept with the door locked, not from fear, but from freedom. The call started the next day. First, Turan asked why the fridge was empty. Then, where the pots had gone. The twins were crying. The stove was broken. The Instant Pot? Gone. Call after call. 11 in total. By the 12th, her voice was trembling. I didn't mean to make you feel unwanted. Please. Come back. But it wasn't about feelings anymore. It was about dignity. I visited a lawyer. She reviewed the receipts, the statements, the spreadsheets. You were a contributing tenant, she said. You had rights. Did I want to press charges? No. I didn't want their money. I wanted peace. And I had it. That night, I wrote a final letter. You treated me like a burden when it was convenient. You lost more than a cook or a babysitter. You lost your mother. That cost won't show up in your budget. But you'll feel it. I mailed it. No return address. Later that evening, Camille brought wine. Leota brought a handmade potholder. And I sat, laughing with women who saw me, not as a tool, but as a person. Days later, I got a crayon drawing in the mail. A stick figure family in front of a house labeled Grandma's house. I pressed it to my chest. And pinned it to my fridge. No master suite. No dining room. But I had peace. And this time? I owned it. The look on their faces? I didn't see it. But I felt it. When they walked into an empty house. When they opened empty drawers. When they realized every comfort they took for granted had walked out the door with the woman they treated like an afterthought. And they were left with exactly what they deserved, nothing they didn't earn. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. I didn't even raise my voice. I just left. And took everything with me. Sometimes, the strongest revenge isn't fire and fury. It's quiet, dignified exit. Let them miss you. Let them understand what you were worth only after you're gone. If this story hit home, if you've ever been used, underestimated, or dismissed, smash that like button and share this video with someone who needs to know their worth. Tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe for more emotional, powerful stories just like this one. Until next time, remember, you matter. You always have. And you never owe anyone your silence.